Hi, my name is Megan, and today we'll be going over Zoom getting started. In this video, we'll be going over how to join a meeting, as well as providing some tips on meeting etiquette and what Zoom accounts are. So, Zoom is a video conferencing tool that can be used on mobile devices, laptops, and desktop computers. To use Zoom, you will need a camera, a microphone, speakers, internet or Wi-Fi, and the Zoom app installed on your device. In my case, I'm using a headset which has built-in speakers and a microphone, and I'm also using a webcam. A lot of devices, especially newer ones like new laptops, tablets, and smart devices, they already have a camera and microphone built into them. So depend on how you're going to use Zoom, but you have some options available to you. Okay. Installing. So one thing that is absolutely required is you do need to download the Zoom app. To do that, you would go to this web address, zoom.us/download. This will take you to a page that will have Zoom client for meetings in kind of big font. And underneath that, there will be a download option. This is what you're going to click on. You would then follow the installation instructions to install Zoom on your device. And it's pretty straightforward, so it shouldn't take long to download. And if you are using a smart device like a tablet or a smartphone, you would download the app from your app store, and it's also free to download. Zoom account. So you do not have to set up a Zoom account to join a meeting. So what that means, basically every Zoom meeting has a unique meeting ID and password. These are generated by Zoom and are required in order to join a meeting. When someone invites you to a Zoom meeting, you'll be sent an email containing a link to the meeting ID, and the password. And in that email, there'll also be a link that you can click on. So even without having to create an account, you can click on the link. It'll open up Zoom, which you already have downloaded on your device. It'll ask for your meeting ID and password, which you would then fill in. They would be provided in the email to you. And that's all that's required to sign in. We'll go into Zoom accounts a little bit further and what it means to have one, but it's just important to note that you don't technically need an account in order to use Zoom, especially if you're not hosting a session with Zoom. Joining a meeting. So at the start time or just before, you would click in an email invitation. So as I mentioned, there's going to be a little link that you would click on to start joining the meeting. And it is a good idea to kind of start around the time it's suggested or a little bit before to give you some time to troubleshoot a bit. Once you click on that link in your email, if you haven't already downloaded the Zoom app, you'll be prompted to do so now. So even if you don't have it downloaded, it will prompt you to start downloading it. It takes, maybe a minute to download, not even. It kind of depends on the speed of your device, but it's a quick download. If you have downloaded, then click on openzoom.us to launch the app. And I have it highlighted down here too, so you can see. It's worded a little strangely, which is why I want to bring it up, but this is what you would click on next. If you prefer, you may join a meeting without clicking an invitation link by going to the zoom.us/join. That's just another option to have as well. The easiest is to really go through the email. So if someone sends you an email to join a Zoom meeting, I would hang on to it until the meeting's done. Your meeting host will be notified that you're joining the meeting and will admit you. So there's kind of these virtual waiting rooms that Zoom has created. It's just a little added security feature. So the person hosting the meeting will see that you're interested in joining and they'll let you in. You may also be prompted to choose your audio option. Select Join with computer audio. And you can see over here on the right-hand side, I have a little example of what that would look like. So you would just click this green button here that says Join with Computer Audio. The same applies if you're using a mobile device as well. So we've joined a meeting. Now, what can we expect during a meeting? The biggest thing you'll notice, and this is where people have some preferences, is your video layout. There are 3 video layouts for meetings. There's active speaker, gallery, and mini view. So active speaker is the default setting and will switch the large video window between whoever is speaking. The rest of the participants are usually arrayed as thumbnails at the top of the screen. This is the default. That's what usually works best for people. Gallery view shows everyone present in a grid and highlights the person speaking. So it's pretty similar to active view. And mini view, you can see I actually have mini view being used right now for this. It allows you to minimize the Zoom video, but keep it on top of whatever applications you may have open on your computer. You can move this window around on your screen. To switch to mini window view, click on the minimize icon. So as soon as you go to minimize your Zoom, it's going to switch into mini view automatically anyways. But it is a really great feature if you wanted to work on stuff on your computer while having a meeting and sort of be present at the same time. So you can see up here I have the gallery views being highlighted. You would just click up here to change to the different viewing options. Okay, so the dashboard. You will also see a number of icons at the bottom of your Zoom screen. These allow you to mute and unmute your microphone. That's right here. It's kind of represented by a little kind of old school looking microphone. We also have video option here as well. Sometimes it's set up so that both of these are turned off when you join a meeting, and you can tell that by the red slash. You can see here the start video has a slash, so your video is turned off. You would simply click it to turn it back on again. To see who else is in the group, right here we have participants. You would click this icon to enable the sidebar on your Zoom screen. It's going to list everyone who's participating in your Zoom meeting. Chat, right here. This allows you to ask questions or comment without interrupting the meeting. This is a pretty helpful little tool. These messages will appear in the sidebar and be visible to all participants unless you select a specific recipient. So it is important to note, if you do send a chat, by default it goes to everybody. You have to select an individual person if you do want to send a private message. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're typing on the side of the screen. And over here is sort of another neat little feature. It's called reactions. And this feature enables participants to provide nonverbal feedback, such as a thumbs up icon on the screen. So you can see they have a little smiley face there. It's basically using emoticons or emojis. So, you know, if you're having a good stream of thought while in a Zoom video and you really like something that someone said, you can click reactions and send a thumbs up without interrupting kind of the flow of the conversation. So it's just a nice little feature to know about as well. There's a few other options available like recording, breakout rooms, closed caption. I won't go into those too much, but I'm going to show you where you can access and get information about all of these tabs. But I thought I would highlight the main ones you'll probably be using. So I thought it was worth mentioning participant etiquette because sometimes we get questions about that. So I thought I would list some pointers. Be punctual. It's kind of like, you know, a face-to-face meeting. You want to be on time. And you want to activate the link a few minutes early so that no one is kept waiting. So it doesn't hurt. Usually 5 to 10 minutes before I have a Zoom meeting, I'll join a bit early. Even if you're waiting for a bit, it's just kind of nice to make sure that everything's working, which kind of leads into the next pointer, which is pre-check your camera and audio. And you have an option to do this actually before the meeting starts. It's one of the options listed in the Zoom app. So you can always check that before the meeting starts as well. It's not a bad idea. Keep your camera at eye level. So you can see here where I have it orientated. It's pretty much eye level with myself. It just kind of makes it easier for people who are trying to communicate, and you know, unless you're too close or too far away. You can stack it up on something if you need to. So this will enable you to look at the camera when you're speaking rather than at the on-screen picture of yourself. So that's a little pointer there. Reduce shadows on your face. So by positioning your computer or device so that the primary light source, like a window or a lamp, is behind the camera, So it's coming from the same direction your camera is pointing and not from behind you. So currently I am a bad example of that. I do have a window behind me, but to account for that, I actually have a lamp. If I turn this off, you'll see I should get a bit dark. So it's kind of dark. It's not terrible, but it does make it harder to see. So ideally, if I was going to change my setup, I would be facing the window and then it would light my face. So it would just make it a little nicer looking, but do what you can. So mute your microphone. When you're not speaking, this cuts down on extraneous background noise. It does make for some pretty funny interactions on Zoom, especially, you know, when you had maybe kids or something run around and all of a sudden the screen would switch over to that camera of that person because their kids or your cats or something are yelling in the background. So it doesn't hurt to just switch the microphone off when you're not speaking. Avoid speaking at the same time. Again, a lot of this is very similar to when you're having a normal meeting, but so you want to try not to speak the same time as other participants and take direction from the meeting host. So it doesn't hurt to kind of wait until you're called upon, or, you know, use the emoticons I had mentioned about, or the chat, just to stop it from getting pretty jumbled, because everyone's talking at the same time. It gets a little crazy, and especially if the camera's trying to keep up with everyone too. So those are kind of the main etiquette points to keep in mind when you're having a meeting. Okay, a Zoom account continued. So what if you do want to have a Zoom account? To do that, you would go to the Zoom website and click sign in. Now the Zoom website is zoom.us, so it's not too hard to get to. And the sign in option is highlighted. I believe it's in the top right hand corner of the page. You'll be prompted to enter your email address, and Zoom will then send you an email with a link to activate your free account and create your Zoom password. So once you have your account created, you can manage your profile. When you log into your account, you'll find various options on the left-hand side of your screen. And that's just a way to kind of personalize your experience if you wish to. You can edit your profile picture, your email, and your password. You can also activate or deactivate a number of other settings here, including the waiting room feature, which I had mentioned earlier. I'm just going to scoot this over so you can kind of see. If I go into my settings here, you can see all the options become available to me. So this is a nice little feature to have, and having an account is also essential if you do want to be the host of a meeting yourself. So I just want to mention that. Okay, some tips. So I'm not sure if you've heard of the term Zoom bombing, but Zoom has soared in popularity as an online video conferencing platform to keep people and communities connected. Some questions have been raised concerning the security of the application, specifically about Zoom bombing. This is where unidentified and uninvited individuals gate crash a Zoom session, interrupting with inappropriate content or comments. How do you prevent this? So Zoom has increased its security arrangements in response to this new reality, which offers users better protection. They also encourage all users to take steps to protect both their privacy and Zoom sessions from unwelcome guests. So some of the suggestions that Zoom has is when setting up a session, do not use your personal meeting ID for the meeting. Instead, use a pre-meeting ID exclusive to one single meeting. So when you create a Zoom account, you're assigned a specific personal meeting ID, and that stays consistent. That number is always the same. It's kind of like when you get a library card and you have your own specific library card number that's specific to you. But something that Zoom offers for meetings is it will auto-generate a number, and that way it's randomized every time. Enable waiting room, and I believe within the last month or two, Zoom has just made this automatically ticked. I don't think you have to go in and manually do it anymore. But just in case, you want to enable the waiting room feature so that you can see who is attempting to join the meeting before allowing them access. This places an extra hurdle in the way of hackers, and they're more likely to go on to an easier target. Disable, and to make some suggestions of things you can disable within your settings. So what they recommend is to disable join before host. This is an option where, say a meeting was for 2 o'clock, but as a host I was running a bit late and someone was on time, they could access the meeting before I got there. Which if it's some friends or whatever, it's not a big deal, but it is a nice feature to have turned on just to add, for that added security. It also recommends to disable screen sharing for non-hosts, to disable the remote control function, and all that is it's an option built within Zoom where if one of the other participants gives me access to their computer, I can then go in and start moving the mouse around on their computer. So we don't want to make that easy to access. We also want to disable file transferring, annotations, and the autosave features for chats. These are all just little added things you can do to make yourself a little safer when using Zoom. So thanks for viewing. I did want to make a note of the Zoom support and the cost of Zoom. So I'm just going to click on that here, and that should take us to their website. Perfect. So everything I went over today, you can search with right in the search bar here, but you can also scroll down. They have video tutorials, they have live training. You can really get into the nitty-gritty of Zoom if you want to start using it more. And I also want to mention the difference between, oops, that's not right. The difference between using a free account on Zoom, but also what it means to buy an account. So a free account, you can host up to 100 participants. You have 40-minute maximum group meetings, and this can be limiting for some people for sure. Just important to keep in mind because at that 40 minutes, it'll kick everyone out of the meeting. And you have unlimited one-to-one meetings. So you can have as many one-to-one meetings as you would like, but as soon as you have a group meeting, which is 3 people or more, it's going to limit you to 40 minutes. If it's something you're looking to do for a business or be more involved in, you can start looking at some of the other options here because it's going to give you unlimited group meetings. You get online storage, social media streaming. So you can kind of pick what's going to work for you, but I did just want to mention the different options you have. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.